Hello and welcome back to Awakening to Your Story TV, the place to learn, get inspired, and be supported with heart-centered solutions for your everyday life. I'm your host, Alicia Hartzell. And today we are going to be talking about emotional tools again. And we are going to look at your point of reference as an emotional tool. Now, as always, there's a very detailed blog that you can head over to in the link in the comments or the description of this video, and you can read along there, get some supplemental information, and that's where I'm going to be taking my notes from. Okay, your point of reference as an emotional tool. Now, this is a great tool if you are feeling a little in your life, or out of control, or jealous, or like you can't stop thinking about another person, or you have a negative slant on something that you feel very strongly about, right? Your point of reference is one of the most valuable tools that you have, because where you're seeing your life from is your point of reference. And that is everything, right? So your point of reference is designed to be from that centered place within yourself, from that aligned heart, being, consciousness place, right? Now, we talk about that kind of aligned place in the stream kayak principle, and I will link that video here so that you can go and double down on your tools if you want to. But in that aligned place where your heart, your being, and your consciousness are all there together, you are the writer of your story. You are the main character living it into existence, right? And that's a really powerful thing to understand. You're the writer, director, and main character of the story of your life. And it's a really powerful thing to know and to take ownership for, right? And that's a point of reference. Now, when we look outside of ourselves in our life and we focus on other people, which we do, we're human, right? It can slowly integrate into our point of reference. Our point of reference can accidentally become other people in our story. It can accidentally become other external things in our story that we're comparing ourselves to, right? Now, if you are in that place of alignment, you know your worth, your value, and significance. It's unconditional to your consciousness. It's unconditional to your heart, the true truth that lives within your heart and your being, right? But when we look outside of ourselves and our point of reference gets off, those things become conditional on the outside sources, whether it's people or circumstances or situations, right? And when we do that, when we accidentally let other things become the main characters of our story, let other people become the writer, director of our story, fear sneaks in, and fear starts to direct where we go and what we think and how we engage with the world around us, right? Now, when you're in alignment, when you're in that place where your point of reference is your own being and your heart and your consciousness, you have the power to navigate through any situation, right? You have that ability to find that inner alignment and move with conscious awareness around the things that come up in your life that may not feel right or may feel off or may be challenging. If your point of reference is outside of yourself, if your point of reference is on someone else and fear is directing, right? Then what happens is you end up reacting to the other people. You end up responding from a place of lack within yourself. And that's never going to feel good, right? It's never going to be that optimal place in your life. You're going to be taking direction from someone else's experience, someone else's whims and opinions and personal things going on in their life will all of a sudden infiltrate your own thoughts and feelings about who you are. You accidentally let them determine how you think and feel about you. And maybe it's not a person, maybe it's an outside thing like social media or a classroom dynamic or a business dynamic. If that dynamic is your point of reference, then what's going on in that dynamic determines how you feel about you. And that's conditional. It's conditional on what is going on in that experience. And that's not necessary. If you are your own point of reference and your heart and your being are in that place of alignment, then whatever's going on in that situation, that dynamic with those people, is information for you to navigate through, but it does not change how you think and feel about you. And that's very important, right? Now, I want you to really understand that when you allow those people to become your point of reference, or you allow the circumstance or situation to become your point of reference, you lose autonomy in your story. You lose the power to determine how you feel and what you think for you, right? You're handing over control to them. There's a good chance they don't even care or know, right? That's the silly thing. We so often just hand over our power to other people, other things that are going on in our life, simply because our point of reference is off, right? Now, if you're scrolling through social media and you are looking at a lot of things that make you feel less than and make you feel small, you have handed over your power to something on social media. They don't even know, they don't care, right? Point of reference is off. Slow it down. It's time to shift, right? If you're in a family dynamic and a family member is trying to cram you into a tiny box because they have limiting ideas about who you should be, what you should think, or how you should feel, your point of reference is off, right? If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or somebody who has broken up with you or is leaving you out, if you have a friend group and someone is leaving you out and they are treating you like scraps, your point of reference is off, right? If you are focused on them and what they are doing and how they are making you feel, your point of reference is on them. You've handed over main character status to them. And it's time to take it back. It's time to shift and find a way back into that inner alignment for yourself, right? Now, I could go on and on about examples, but what I want you to really do is ask yourself, is the way that I'm thinking about them making me feel bad about me, right? It's super, super important, this question. Is what I'm thinking about them determining how I feel about me, right? That's the place where you start. And then I want you to really engage in two things after that, right? If you can figure out that inner language that you're having, right? Whether it's codependent or consciously independent, it will really help you. When you start to say, do this so that I can feel a particular way for me in my life, your point of reference is off, right? I need you to act a particular way so that I feel okay for me. It's off, right? You're handing it over to them. That point of reference has got to come back to your own heart and your own story, right? Now, consciously independent language sounds more like, okay, I take responsibility for how I feel and what I think, right? I get to determine how I feel, what I think, and how I'm going to engage in this moving forward, right? Consciously independent versus codependent. That inner language will really help you identify when your point of reference is off, right? Now, the next thing that is really valuable is this idea of having metacognition as an inner working tool for you, right? And it's really valuable with your point of reference. Metacognition is your ability to witness your own thoughts, see the patterns behind those thoughts, and then you can choose something different, right? So think of it like when you look at something from a like micro level, when you're looking really close and the details and you can't get out and all you can focus on is them and how wrong you feel and how awful it is. If you activate that metacognition, what you're doing is you're widening up that lens and you're looking at that bigger landscape of what's going on. And you become a witness. You become a witness to all those details. You become a witness to your thoughts. And then from that higher level place of thinking, you can interact rather than just react to what's going on. Because you have the power to determine how you think and how you feel moving forward, right? Now, I'm going to give you a personal example because the last couple days, well, yesterday and this morning, I have had to actively live into this tool. So I love doing what I do. I've been doing it for a decade now. And I do it because I love it. I do it because I love engaging with you. I love teaching. I love inspiring and helping people, right? I love this process of life. I fell in love with my own life and how I processed it and how I moved through it. And I created all these tools for myself and then I wanted to share them. And I do it because I love it and it feels enthusiastic to me, right? Well, yesterday I got on YouTube and I started looking at my analytics and started trying to look at those inner working number things. And if you look at my videos and you look at my numbers, you know I don't have a lot of followers. I don't have a lot of people watching my videos. I don't have the numbers there that one would want, that I want. I want to be able to help more people. And after sitting in that space for an hour yesterday, trying to learn how to do this YouTube thing better, I started really feeling bad. And I was like, why am I even doing this? Why do I do this? I started questioning everything. I've got, 26 views and no comments. And my point of reference got shifted to the mechanics and the numbers and this outside source, right? And I started to feel less than because my focus was on the numbers. My focus was on something that had nothing to do with me, my heart, my story, my inner alignment, right? And so I had to become a witness. It did not feel good. I felt crappy and it made me want to give up. Like, just give up. No, I'm the author of my story. My story is not determined by numbers. My story is not determined by whether or not things external from me are going right or wrong according to an outside source, right? I determine how I think and how I feel and how I show up in my life. I'm the writer, director, and main character, right? Fear is not going to direct the way I move through my story. And so I had to take it back. I had to find my alignment again and remember who I am and why I love doing the things I do. So whether or not it's because of a friendship dynamic or because of a family dynamic or because we are bombarded with social media and this idea that we have to live up to an expectation and compare ourselves to other people, whatever situation you're in, please look to see where your point of reference is. Use this tool to help you find your way back home to that inner alignment, that part of you that is connected and feeling good about who you are for you, right? That is the power of your story. You are the only you this world is ever going to know. You are valuable, worthy, and significant as you are. Has nothing to do with outside sources. Has nothing to do with the other people in your life. Has nothing to do with numbers on social media. Has nothing to do with anything but you. And what you do with that, that's just magic. You get to choose, right? You get to choose how you think, how you feel, and how you show up. And that is the value of you being you and you being the human being that you are at this vast table of humanity, right? Okay, use this tool often. Please, please, please. If you have comments, if you have questions, please share them. I'm always here to comment back to you and to be here to really support you and love you along the way. Like and share this video, this blog, subscribe to my channel and get my emails, and know that you are never alone. And until next week, know that I am holding a place of love for you where that inner point of reference and value and significance about who you are, well, they're undeniable.